All right, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody who have joined, and welcome to the first week of Halal Tokenized webinar series. I'm really excited, and I'm so happy that so many people have joined, and just like me, they are looking for the right knowledge, inshallah. Um, just to set the quorum, we'll begin with a short presentation. And in that presentation, I'll give you a broader view of where tokenization stands today and its impact on Islamic finance, the industry we will be focusing on. Right after that, we'll have Sheikh Mufti Umar Rafiq, who is a IP accredited Mufti in Pakistan, and he's a fintech advisor, great in academics, working for a lot of big universities in Pakistan and promoting Islamic finance technical knowledge. So he will be assisting us and helping us to slice and dice couple of questions I have. So with that, I will begin inshallah with the presentation. Um, so we'll begin with the global landscape and why it matters now because remember and everybody is aware number matters, right? So today the industry is sitting at 31 billion tokenized asset. Example that assets like gold, real estate, private credit, funds, if they are tokenized and they are on the blockchain, the combined value of that asset is 31 billion. And if we see the other side of Islamic finance funds or sukuk, right, is standing at 1 trillion, which is off chain. It's not on the chain. So if you see the delta between these two, you will understand that where the industry Islamic finance is heading is of course being on chain. And the being on chain means that this 1 trillion will exponentially start increasing. Over and all, if we see the total tokenized market, where it is heading from today till 2030 to 2034, as per the BCG, Boston Consulting Group, and other accredited organization assessment and research, they are projecting is going to be 30 trillion next decade. Right, so phenomenal potential. And that's the purpose of the webinar series we have is that we want in Islamic finance everybody to have a focus on tokenization. It can be in a student, fintech person, Islamic banker, whoever it is. They must have some awareness and knowledge, and then they should start studying it and then adopting it. All right. So first slide is just about the tokenization landscape in execution is practicality. So 31 billion, as I mentioned, that the assets are tokenized. We have seen a big surge that from early 2025 last year January till today we started with 6 billion assets. Now we are 31 billion on chain. So it's a 5x growth. The major player in the market because a lot of people have I have met in the industry, they are always skeptical when it comes to tokenization. They think that tokenization is just like cryptocurrency, and then I have to tell them that the cryptocurrency institution adoption is not much. But if you see big institution like BlackRock, one of the largest, I think top five asset management company in the world, as well as JP Morgan, which is not mentioned here, they're already piloting it and they have already went live with couple of use cases. So if you see the institution adoption of these investment banks, it's close to 2.5 billion, mostly in US. If we talk about that 31 billion, what kind of asset classes we are looking into? We are looking into asset classes like treasuries, bond, private credit, gold and commodities, equities, real estate. Real estate is a small portion, but it's really emerging fast, right? Especially if you see the UAE and Saudi that we will talk about in the next slide. The institutional momentum, as I mentioned, there are big players in the market, and those includes U.S. government like Franklin Templeton. They are the largest fund issuer, sovereign issuer in the world. JP Morgan, Nasdaq, NYC, the commodity trading DTCC US, Dubai Land Department. As I'm sure that you know there is a very big momentum in real estate tokenization UAE now in Saudi, MAS, which is the Singapore regulator, and Bank Negara Malaysia. All right. So with that, you understand that we are not talking about any concept. We are talking about a production grade ready, uh, what do you call, product went live. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide. The big answer. Let's address that. What is the benefit of tokenization, and what is the risk when it comes to the cryptocurrency world? So what this slide tells you is basically uh, the core difference between the cryptocurrency and tokenization, and what are the crypto rails characteristics or attribute or benefits we are taking out from the cryptocurrency world and applying on the tokenization. This is concept is really important for everybody to understand. All right, so the public chain, as we know, the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, the XRP, all those big players in the cryptocurrency, Ethereum, right? All that everybody knows about, and I'm sure everybody in the webinar would know. So, what is their benefit? Benefit is that I can settle my Bitcoin in millisecond. I can be sitting anywhere in the world and I can buy Bitcoin, I can sell it, trade it, right? The only problem with the cryptocurrency world is the legitimacy. I'm not sure. I'm skeptical. It's highly volatile, right? I'm just shifting my focus to the risk side. It's highly volatile. It's speculative. There is no asset backing, right? There is no counterparty risk mechanism. I'm not sure whether illicit money is moving around, right? Maybe some criminals are moving the money. I have no clue, right? Because it's just not regulated. And what about the liquidity? It's very opaque. What I know, I cannot go and access, or I cannot talk to an institution and say that, okay, there's a large liquidity sitting behind the rails, right? If you see on the tokenization, what happened is that tokenization is nothing but it's a digital share of the asset itself, pure asset. And I will let Sheikh talk about the Sharia view and the use cases around it. But tokenization is back to an asset. So if the gold goes up, the token price goes up. Gold goes down, the price goes down. Similarly, real estate price goes up in a country, it goes up, right? So there's always asset back behind it. And in tokenization, especially with Mabrook, we also provide you a way to verify the proof of reserve of the liquidity also. So you know that where I'm investing, I can always exit and trade, and I can do buy and selling easily. So that's the primary difference between tokenization and cryptocurrency. We are taking the good thing out of the cryptocurrency, we are applying on the asset-backed token, and we circulate this token just like Bitcoin, Ethereum across the globe. Mabrook position, I want to be very clear. We are institution savvy. We don't work in cryptocurrency. Uh, and the way we do is that we use the crypto rail, like we will use the Polygon or Ethereum or ERC infrastructure. We're going to have proper risk governance applied on it, revealed. We will have permission, and there will be some use cases which will be coming down road for the permissionless chain. Um, we provide regulated custody, like anybody who's buying and selling, their assets are being watched by the regulator. So the counterparty risk is really less or none. And of course, we have a Sharia supervisory board involvement in the complete, starting from the inception of the asset screening and up to the level of when the tokens are in the market. There's a regular screening going on. So I'll go fast because we have less time. So I will request team to activate the poll. I really want everybody on this webinar to give me their input. What do you think? Which country has the highest cryptocurrency adoption in the world? So, in a country, in a simple word, in a country, which you think that they have the highest crypto adoption and they have more cryptocurrency holder than any other country? Okay, that's great. So the winner here is United States, and people are still polling. So I'll let you guys poll it, but the biggest winner coming out is United States, maybe followed by, I don't know, in India. So it will be shocking news to everybody. The highest global adoption is not in the first world. It is in country like India and Pakistan and Nigeria, right? So we won, right? So what I want to explain everybody that any place, if you apply the cryptocurrency formula, any place where the highest maybe currency inflation or economic inflation or the demographics are young, they are crypto savvy receptive. And this is the market we are advocating, and Sheikh will also enlighten us that we need to get out of those cryptocurrency and get into the tokenization rail, right? So that's a very good one. Thank you for everybody for joining the poll. All right, so I'll move on. I'm just going to connect with the poll. So if you see on the top, there are 740 million unique crypto user around the world. One in four of that crypto user is a UAE resident. Of course, Pakistan ranks the number three in the grassroots adoption, like an ordinary person holding the cryptocurrency. I'm not going to talk about the regulation and the Sharia compliance over it, right? That's not the scope. But what I'm trying to show you the adoption rate, right? Imagine this adoption, this 741 million, even if we take 10% of it, 7.4 million, and move it to Islamic finance, which is 6 trillion today, where it will head, right? Where this sukuk will be heading. So that money lying there, non-regulated, we don't know who are they, but all those guys are having a highly volatile and non-asset backed cryptocurrency. On the middle, if you see where the crypto users are, UAE has the highest ownership rate. That depends how you view it. Turkey is same, Pakistan. I'm talking about the Muslim country here. So UAE, Turkey, Pakistan, Indonesia, Nigeria, and I will send this slides to you, and you can have a look. But see that I'm just talking about the five countries here, and see the exponential benefits they will get if they went into the tokenization, and how we can build a very proper asset-backed ecosystem, right? So this gap of cryptocurrency towards tokenization, so less people in tokenization today, many in cryptocurrency is our opportunity, right? And collectively we'll be working towards and understanding how we can build those tokenization rail, right, in our countries and our area, and how can we ride this time. Mabrook role is basically to turn those on-chain behavior into halal asset-backed only ownership, right? Our mission is to take those 745 million, give them education, awareness, and move them to tokenization. That's our one of the primary goal. All right. So why 2026 is Islamic finance movement, and I cannot emphasize more. If you see on the right side, by number, Islamic finance industry stands as 5 trillion, out of which 1 trillion is sukuk. Right. The minimum investment size of sukuk today is 200,000 to 1k, and 1,000 is a very piloting in UAE mostly. Um, the way we see it, the tokenization fits into asset back and risk sharing by design. And this is where our market is looking into, right? They don't want to get into interest, they want to have a minimum gharar or what you call doubts, right? On those instruments they want to invest. So asset tokenization is the best fit. A real democratization, meaning that we can reduce the size of the sukuk issuers to 1,000, maybe $500 or $100. The use cases are live. Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank have done smart sukuk with small pilots. UAE, DLD, the Dubai Land Department have done property-based token via Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority in Dubai. Bank Negara Malaysia, the regulator in Malaysia, has put it into roadmap, and they will be working very aggressively toward it. So this is what is coming, and I really want everybody to be part of it. In whether it can be a student, a fintech person, a Islamic banker, they need to understand it and ask. And that's the purpose of the webinar, to ask us question. All right. And there's a conversion also happening. The US, United States, right now, they have passed Genius Act, which is, I think it was September 2025. In that, the stable coin are regulated at the Federal Reserve level. So imagine that in next 5 years, anybody who's have adopted the Federal Reserve regime or compliance, right, or BIS compliance, they will be using the stable coin. So where the stable coin lives is basically your tokenization, right? I think that's it. With that, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. I will move to Sheikh Dr. Mufti Sultan. Thanks for joining, Sheikh. And if you don't mind, if you can give us like a quick introduction, and then I think you have some poll to start with. I'll request you to basically to do yourselves and then hit the poll, and then we'll get into the collaborative discussion.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to all the participants, panelists, and all the listeners. I think this is a good time. Although on Sunday, but I think we need to have some discussions and understandings. And this weekend is a good time to be relaxed and ponder upon some discussions. Sometimes we have these discussions throughout the week, but we don't have time to ponder on it. And this is a good platform to be flexible about the questions and answers, whatever we want to ask related to the some part of the technical part of the tokenization and Sharia compliance of the tokenization. So my introduction, this is Dr. Muhammad Umar Rafiq, and basically I'm from Pakistan, and I have done my PhD from University Malaya, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, in Islamic finance. I'm serving as an assistant professor at a university here in Karachi, as well as my Sharia compliance journey is since 2017. I have worked with some non-financial institution. I have worked with the Indus Hospital here in Karachi, and I've worked with some local and foreign organizations working on tokens, and the I've worked with some software houses as well who are working for USA from Karachi. So this is a kind of mixed background from the Sharia compliance perspective. So today the topic we are going to focus, and that Fahad Bhai has gave us some good numbers about and good facts about the tokenization, and we can have a sense what is going to happen in future. So this is from my side, and I am available for the questions, and let's start this.
Sure, sure. There's one poll, Sheikh, we will request team to activate. This is regarding what our participant carry today in terms of the crypto asset. So if the team can activate the poll.
Yes, please.
All right. So tell us everybody on the bridge, tell us your digital asset experience. Do you own some cryptocurrency? You don't have it, you are skeptical, or what? Like, let's have some interesting facts coming in. We'll give everybody 30 to 45 seconds, inshallah, to help us provide their feedback.
To think and answer.
Yes.
For the moment, Fahad, your screen is still being shared. I think you can stop sharing the screen.
Sure. Thank you. All right. So we are seeing I don't own any, but I'm curious is 70% of the participants here. So I think we need to adjust and focus on ensuring they have the right knowledge, right, to begin in this industry.
This tells us about the right time as well about this webinar.
Alhamdulillah. All right, so Sheikh, we have 74%. I don't own any, but I'm curious. I want to know what is going on. And then the next one is 15%. I own some, but it's just sitting here. They don't do anything. And this is what I've been talking about, Sheikh, that having cryptocurrency lying there is money no use for the Ummah, right? We need to have this security token coming out, and we need to have this token in circulation. So we have good quality assets coming in. We invest in business which are good. Could be Islamic school, could be a small project by 5 Muslim teacher in Tanzania, right? And they're able to turn around good, what you call return to the investors. Give it on platform like Mabrook or any platform in the world. I don't care. And we put that money in the use. And then, imagine 741 million top 5 Muslim countries, 10% of it, and we divert it to the people who are looking, and they don't want to deal with interest. They don't want to work with banks, right? They want to just set up their lucrative business, right? A Muslim doctor sitting in Canada want to open up a clinic, but she cannot because she needs funding, and the most option she has is go to conventional bank. So with that, Sheikh, I will take your permission to start the first question. The first
Yes, please.
question, as we have been discussing it, isn't tokenization a fancier name of cryptocurrency? Like it's just like a cryptocurrency, like we are trying to wrap a cryptocurrency which is not Sharia compliant into tokenization. If you can help us understand, and especially from the IEP point of view as well.
So, thank you. And this is one of a basic question. Normally, people have this need to understand. Uh, First of all, I think we need to understand about the difference between these two things. When we talk about cryptocurrency, or we can name it like Bitcoin or others, actually they don't have anything outside it. So if we talk about the intrinsic value, and let we can talk about the fiat currency as well. Actually, the dollar bill that we have, or a dirham, or a real, or even a rupee, basically it says that in here in Pakistan, it says that on hukumat Pakistan mutalbe par ada karega. So it has the backing from the state, and that is why it is said to be a currency. And other than that, actually, how much reserve does a company, does a state has, actually is not linked, or is not in the equal proportion. So when we talk about cryptocurrency, actually a system, and which is not based on the real world assets, and the subscribers, the people who are believing in it, have given it a value, and the value goes up and down due to the demand. But when we talk about tokenized asset, it is a bit and quite different, because it is directly not only linked to the real world asset, it is the proportion of that real world asset. So actually, I when I used to explain it to the students, to my students, I used to ask them, can you own an apartment in Dubai, in Palm Jumeirah? They used to say, no, it's quite expensive, we can't buy it. And the second question I used to ask, that is it possible that there are 1,000 owners of a single apartment? They say it is not possible, because it is not practical, and it is not the ownership is not so flexible. But what if tokenization is what it makes it happen? A person with having a very low investment, very low portion to invest, can have an access and an equal share as per his investment in any real world asset. That asset can be real estate, that can be maybe a cow, or any asset that yields. So tokenized asset is basically different from crypto, because it is not only linked and pegged to the real world asset. It can be a gold bar, it can be a pool of asset as well. So the next part is the technology, how it happens, how it is possible. Yes, it is not possible in apart and other than without technology, but with technology it is happening through blockchain. And actually, basically, it is the investment in the real world assets. I hope this answers the question.
Yeah, and then we will take the, at the end we will take answers, right? So the second question I have is that even if tokenization works for global business owners who want to raise money, and for the investor who wants to invest, like it's a matchmaking. Tokenization is matchmaking, right? Platform like Mabrook are matchmakers. So we ensure that we outlay all the risk, we show them the evidences, third party valuation, whatever, and then people invest, right? And the money goes to the escrow. Is it actually halal, or being Islamic finance, or is just like I will just say that is it halal and put a Sharia compliant sticker on it and try to sell it? Think if you can please give a witness to us on that.
So when we talk about Islamic, the prefix Islamic or halal, actually we need to understand the contracts and the happenings in the system. There are, so when we, as the example I was giving, can there be 1000 owners of a single apartment? What Sharia says about it? So Sharia, AOP standards, and the even before the standards, the crude classical literature of Sharia tells that there is no limit of number of owners in a single asset, and that asset can be as small as anything. So actually, there can be an unlimited number of people, partners, musharik in an asset. But normally it doesn't happen because why? Because actually the practicality is not there, but through that technology it is happening. So because all the partners, they have equal rights, and the governance mechanism is as per the Sharia law. For example, if it happens that some of the participants, they have access to sell it, and some actually they are not able to sell it, or any right that is the right of an owner, and they are not able to execute that. In that case, it may not, that tokens may not be halal. But when we talk about the governance systems, and they follow the AOP standards that are available to us to check, and actually the musharaka standard or the wakala standard, whatever is applying to the system. So if these rulings are followed, then actually it is not a sticker, and actually it does not require a sticker. Even if a person is not claiming it to be halal or Sharia compliant, it is halal. So technically it is halal, for provided that they follow the rules and the standards that are set by the AOP and the Sharia.
So basically, if I'm an investor, I can ask the platform owners or the issuer that give us the evidence of what product structuring you are doing. If I don't find it on the platform, first question naturally I should ask without being shy or naive, that what is the contract, what how the contract is working. Give us that. I should not only just look for that halal icon or just Sharia thing. I should go into and ask those questions. So that's a good information, and I think it's a very good takeaway. Sid, can you help us understand the tokenization in a very simple layman term? Uh, right, what is tokenization?
Uh, so as I explained the example, so many people understand it through the real estate. So there is an apartment, there is a shop, and there is a rent, that is the yield, the annual yield or the monthly yield of that. But actually, how many practical partners can be there? So sometimes it happens that there are 5 brothers or 10 brothers, and they got inherited a shop or an apartment from their father. So normally 10 brothers maximum, and brother and sisters. So and actually they need to divide that yield to each partner as according to his share. And sometimes it becomes quite difficult for them, and because normally just after the inheritance, inheritance doesn't get distributed. So even, for example, they distributed that after a year, for that particular year, actually all the owners, according to their ownership ratios, they have the claim in the yield as well. But again, through that technology, because it is based on blockchain, it is based on some governance system, it is possible that we can keep a digital record on a shared and a temper resistant ledger. Actually, we are able, through thanks to that technology, that we are able to maintain a ledger that cannot be tempered or changed by any person. So therefore, actually, any person, as I explained, that from Sharia perspective, there is no limit that can be 1,000 or 10,000. So if we are able to execute that through that technology, through that blockchain, the governance system is strong. Actually, we are the real owners of that particular asset. And it goes again, it talks about the expenses as well. So what about the expenses of that apartment or the shop? So, for example, if they need to pay a tax to the government, who is going to pay the tax? Actually, the owners. And who is going? So, there is a very famous saying of, and some people say that this is from Hadith, although this is a basic rule. Al ghurmu bil ghunmi. If I am entitled for a yield, and if I have the access to some rent, then actually I am responsible for the expenses as well. So all the expenses again should be beared by all the participants as per their shares. So if the system is there to inculcate all these rulings into that, and through that blockchain technology we are able to do it, actually in simple words, through buying a single token, one has a legal and a Sharia compliant ownership in that particular asset. Then again, the second part is, which kind of asset is this? So, is a person is allowed to buy a bar or a wine shop? The answer is no. Similarly, he is not allowed to buy a token of a wine shop. So it is important that we need to understand which asset is this. If the asset is halal and the rules are followed, then it is a halal tokenization, or it can be a haram tokenization as well, because the asset is not halal.
Awesome. So basically, we are creating a digital twin of that asset, of that house or building, maybe school, into the blockchain. And what this platform help us to have a better governance using the technology. So anything which is on the paper or manual is basically transformed into a blockchain. As you rightly mentioned, there's an immutable ledger, and we can basically do things there better than we do in the real world. So thank you, Sheikh, for that. Another question I have is that if I own a token, okay, how can I enforce? So, example, I bought a token of a real estate in US or Canada or Pakistan, right? I'm carrying this token. It's in my wallet, and I can verify my ownership via going to the SPV or the title of the company, and I can verify that I am a legitimate owner. Now, there are some decisions which are happening in that asset, right? The company agents or whoever is maintaining or running that show or business is making those decisions. How can me as a owner, equity owner, can enforce my feedback using that token or the digital share?
Okay. So actually, this is the part of the governance, how it works. First of all, as I said that being an owner, I have the right, and how to actually operationalize that right of all the people. This is part of the governance, because many people, if there are many people, and they may have different views and different opinions about that particular thing. So we need to understand that you don't own actually a digital picture of a brick. We are not talking about metaverse. We are not talking about virtual reality. We are talking about the only real world, real asset. So a legal entity, usually a special purpose vehicle, as you said, an SPV, actually holds the title of the property. Your token represents a real enforceable interest in that entity, written into the documents under the law that governs the system, not just the line of code. So it's not only about the app or the platform on I have access to. Actually, I should have the legal entity and the legal ownership of it. So it's not like if a platform vanished tomorrow or day after tomorrow, a claim is not there because it was all in that app, and app got disconnected. So we need to understand that when we talk about real world tokenization, it's not the tokens of it's not only the NFTs, because many people are actually focusing on non fungible tokens, and then they sometimes think about the metaverse and that pictures or only that utility tokens. So when we talk about real world tokens, actually I have the right and the legal entity on it.
So basically, even if like platform like Mabrook or a tokenization platform who is offering this service collapse tomorrow, there is no exchange. but I did had the token in my wallet, and I have the token in my wallet. I can literally drive up to the legal and body of the country, and then I can say, "Here's my claim. Here's my certificate of the ownership. I want to claim my rights." So I think that's the beauty of the real world asset tokenization, that it can never go zero. So let's say if just like the unfortunate case of FTX happened, people had no backup. They did not have any fallback. There was no risk governance. Everything was synthetic. In real world asset, at least I can go to the ministry and I can say, here is my title deed evidence that my token ID or my name is there. I want to claim it. So when the government takes it over, supervision happens and they are liquidating the asset, I can get some my money back. So that's a good one, Sheikh. Thank you very much. Um, so in and I'm sure this is a non-Sharia compliance as well, right? The moment if I try to hide something on my platform and the owner is not able to access his right using my platform, I think that becomes one of the non-Sharia compliance, Sheikh. Um, what can what can I tokenize, Sheikh, in by the Sharia ruling?
So, as I just mentioned about the halal assets and haram assets, actually, all the assets which buying them is haram. Like it can be pork, it can be a pork farm, it can be wine factory, it can be a wine shop, a bar, or maybe a restaurant that is selling wine as well. So all these things are should not be tokenized, because when we talk about Islamic, Muslims are not allowed to buy these things, and even if they buy, they actually don't become the real owner of these things. So apart from that, actually we are able to buy the all the halal assets. Like if we can talk about halal animals farm, we can talk about the real estate, and we can talk about the about even businesses. The It can be some SMEs, it can be pool of assets, and if we talk about the metals, it can be gold and silver. The Although they actually don't have a yield that that is like a rent, but actually the appreciation of the value of that asset is the real interest that an owner has. So it can be anything. Like what if, for example, there is a mine of gold, it can be tokenized as well. And from Sharia perspective, again, I'm not talking about the technical or governance part, but actually it can happen. And it can be a farm, it can be some fields, and like jets, like aeroplanes. So all these things are can easily, but for example, what the basic rules of Sharia should be followed. Like for example, I cannot buy something which is not in the ownership of the seller. So if the seller is selling something which is not in the ownership of the seller, actually I cannot buy that. And if I know that, actually I'm not allowed to buy it. So the token owners actually cannot buy something on future, and all the rules of sale should be followed. As far as the assets are concerned, as I told, that there are some no-go areas like wine and pork and etc etc. Apart from that, all these things, all the assets can be are halal, and AOP actually talks about these assets as well. So it talks about in musharaka and even in muzaraba as well, that which assets can a financial institution can go into, and which assets it should not go into. So all the assets mentioned actually by AOP for an institution to be halal to go into, actually tokenization can be done on all these things. Again, it is important that what is the framework or the regulatory framework available to facilitate that tokenization. Because when we talk about the records, so in some of the countries, when we talk about record, there is no digitization of that records. So when a person needs to go and check the file, it has to go through a process of a month in order to reach to that particular file, and that file is in some cupboard. And so when we talk about digitization, wherever the digitization is there, it is easy to move to the tokenization. And wherever the digitization is not there, or it is not easy to digitize it, then actually tokenization becomes a bit difficult as well.
Awesome, sir. Jazakallah. So I'll just move to the Q&A. I will take some questions from the Q&A section. So everybody who want to ask question, please use the Q&A, and then I will open up the mic. So people can start raising their hand. So I can turn on one by one. Meanwhile, Sheikh, the first question we have is very interesting from Sister Sumera Abu Bakr Tanko. She is asking, how do blockchain network improve global access and liquidity? Maybe I can answer it, Sheikh, if you don't allow me. So how it increase the liquidity is that basically, as I mentioned, and I was showing you the number, 741 million crypto user around the globe, right? We are not talking about the banks; those are individuals sitting somewhere and they have invested. So similarly, in the real world asset tokenization, we put the token on the blockchain because then it can attract. Alhamdulillah, we are 2 billion Muslim strong, right? So even if even if take like 5% of the market, it's huge. So those people will buy it. The other thing in tokenization, since it's regulated, license, we can also connect to the banks. So if, for an example, a bank in Pakistan or Bangladesh or Nigeria is very heavy in liquidity, we can move that liquidity into the exchange and we can use it for the trading and we can give halal return to the bankers. So that's one of the answer. I hope I answered it well. Um, the other question we have is from Muhammad Javed Mal, and it's a Sharia compliance related question. RWA tokenization standard. Who is issuing these standard? Is it Sharia standard? Which authority is behind those? Basically, the question is there any authority where I can go which is credible and download the RWA tokenization standard?
So again, about the standards, AOP actually has not yet issued a standard on tokenization by the name of tokenization. But when we talk about tokenization, actually it involves musharaka, it involves wakala, in some cases it involves ijara, and we alhamdulillah have very detailed uh, rulings about the tokenization. So about the ijara and about these all these things. So actually deriving and these the rulings and about the tokens is possible based on the AOP rulings and AOP standards. So this is about Sharia standard. So when we talk about the governance standards, again, it is important. Why? Because wherever it is working and how to actually connect to that real world asset and how the tech part is working. So again, the cybersecurity issues, etc. All these things are important, and these things should be taken, should be considered as well. Because again, when we talk about halal and Islamic, there is a trust issue part. So like when we can talk about Mabrook. So Mabrook, for example, if Mabrook is going to tokenize something, it not only has to follow the Sharia part of it, the Sharia standards, but the governance, the IT, auditor, etc. These standards should be done as well.
Awesome. And again, participant can raise their hand. There is an icon on the Zoom. You will find it. You can raise your hand if you want to open up the mic and then ask question. All right. So you raise your hand. I will turn the mic on and then you can question it on. So I will move to the next question. The next question is Ji.
You can just name the person so that I can check. I can read the question as well.
Oh, sure. The question is basically on the Q&A. Right. And the next question is from Jamil Abbas. Is RWA tokenization basically the same with the digitalized sukuk? So I think the question is that is it only for sukuk or I can do something else with it?
So actually, when we talk about digitized sukuk, the process documentation of sukuk is digitized. So in tokenization, it is based on blockchain. On a digitized sukuk, it is not based on blockchain, and it is not necessarily has to do anything with the blockchain. So this is the difference. However, when we talk about the Sharia part of it, it may be musharaka involved in both of these things, but the difference is the technology behind it.
Awesome. And I think to simplify, one of the answer could be that one of the view could be that in tokenization, I can do both equity raise as well as debt raise. So in debt raise, of course, sukuk can happen. In equity raise, I can do real estate financing, and there any product which is Islamically allowed can be jara, musharka, mudarba. I can use tokenization and then I can do any product structuring I want to tokenize. There's no limitation per se to do only Sukuk. Thank you, Sheikh. The next question is from Talha Salim Kapadia. What is the underlying rules of tokenization? And then there are three questions, by the way. How to ensure the Sharia legitimacy of underlying asset? I think we covered it. It has to be Sharia screen and follow the IP alignment. What is the difference between the fines and token? So, Brother Tala, I'm not understanding your third question. Maybe you can unmute your mic. I'll let you allow to talk. Can you please explain us your third question? And the first question we already answered. What are the underlying rules of tokenization? For us in Sharia compliant has to be IP aligned. It has
I
to
just
be
want
Sharia screen.
the
Go ahead.
difference between the fund and tokenization.
Cool.
Fine.
So, Sheikh, the question is that what is the difference between the funds and tokenization? Do you want me to answer? I can do that.
As you said, you will answer,
Okay.
please.
I think you have precedence, so why don't you answer it?
So, from the Sharia perspective, again, the Sharia legitimacy of the underlying asset is just like the underlying asset of a sukuk. So, we need to follow all the rules as we follow in the sukuk. And the third question is important, and it resembles, and the people are there. They need to differentiate between these two things, because they talk about ETFs and the mutual funds even. So because there are many types of funds, actually I cannot name each and every fund and differentiate that, but we need to understand that tokenization is quite broad, and it works on musharaka rules, and it sometimes it can be a pool of assets. So multiple assets, numerous assets are there, and the pool is tokenized, and the owner has the legal entity, legal ownership in that pool. uh, in some cases funds is doing the same. Sometimes fund is actually investing the cash amount in different funds or in different venues. Normally in tokenization, actually, the assets are marked. The assets are not only marked, actually taken into the pool, and the actual appreciation of these assets, the real world assets, is directly reflected into the value of the token itself. So this was from my side. And Fadbhai, would you like to add something on it?
No, I think it's a very good question. And when I started this tokenization bit 4 years back, I had the same question as Faisal asked. Um, and then Alhamdulillah, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala gave me some privilege to travel and meet people who have been to doing tokenization. So the best use case of tokenization is funds. So there is 5 billion already credit tokenized US Treasury. US tokenized Treasury, I'm looking the number is 14.5 billion today. And the credit funds which are tokenized today is close to $6 billion. And there are 200,000 users of those tokenization. So very good question, Faisal. And we hope that we justified your question and we answered. The next question is from Sister Aziza Hassan Jibril. Subhanallah, very beautiful name. I understand the difference between cryptocurrency and tokenization. So she understand the concept. I'm just not too sure what crypto is Sharia compliant. So basically, is there any crypto outside in the world which is Sharia compliant? Hence, she don't own it. If I have an opportunity to invest it will be tokenized securities, and I will do that. So I think her question, I think she's very clear and she's heading to the right direction. Alhamdulillah. But her question is the crypto Sharia compliant. Yeah.
I think all this is more of comment than a question. However, when you talk about Sharia compliant cryptos, so till now there are two different types of opinion from the Sharia scholars all over the world, and there are some Sharia scholars who actually have issued certificates for some cryptos about the Sharia compliance. And because in today's webinar, actually we are focusing on tokenization. As far as the actual cryptos are concerned, hundreds and thousands of types of cryptos are there, and people and Sharia scholars have been working on the Sharia compliance part of it, and some are certified by them as well, as opposed to some other Sharia scholars who actually have not issued certificates for the compliance of these cryptos. So there are multiple types of cryptos, and there are different opinions on it. But the brighter part is that actually tokenization is very clear, and it is not just like the crypto. And that is why today's focus is on that tokenization part.
All right, so next question is from Mohammed Javed Iwadmal. I do apologize if my pronunciation is not correct. Forgive me for saying. How the issue of token ownership and possession can be ascertained? How can I verify that the token I'm holding is not out of the thin air like Bitcoin and it's really tight as we have spoken to that asset? And through which documents? What is the instrument I can use to verify which is legitimate and credible?
So there are actually, when we talk about the ownership, the legal ownership, the Sharia ownership. So when we talk about Sharia ownership, actually, when a person buys something and when he has actually bought it, he has the Sharia right of ownership in it. And the position, I will talk about the position. Number two is when we talk about legal ownership, the documentation part, the regulatory framework facilitation should be there from that state. And as Alhamdulillah, many of the states are facilitating, and Fatbay can talk on actually which state is facilitating how much about the tokenization of these assets. So actually they issue a certificate with your name that you have this much ownership, a digital certificate in that particular apartment. So for example, in Dubai, UAE, Stake was working, and it was issuing the certificates, and there are some other, so UAE was issuing certificates and others as well. So that is about ownership. As far as the possession is concerned, in Sharia terms, possession means the access, the access without any limitation. So whenever a person has access, and access to sell it, access to modify that asset, how much he owns that part of it, so it is considered to have the possession. And when we talk about the possession in the real estate, actually in to some of the Sharia scholars, actually for selling a real estate to another person, actually possession is not the mandatory requirement. So apart from the real estate, yes, for all the movable items, possession is the main requirement. So possession should be done as per the governance system. And actually, when a person has the tokenization, because he owns some part of it, and they all have a combined possession of it through their wakil, through their tokenization manager.
Thank you. And the way we are doing it in Canada is that the SPV, which is tokenized and which owns the asset, first the asset has to be moved to the SPV as per Sharia compliance. We cannot do a direct issuer business coming in and tokenize to protect everybody. And then once the tokens are sold, we are providing the token ID and customer information to the lawyer, which goes to the property title or land registry department, and then the lawyer uploads everything on the title registry. So you can check, because each token ID is a unique ID. You can also check your token. You can verify that online, or going to the land registry department. You don't need it. That's how you do it. So thank you for. And Talha Salim has another question. Is there any regulatory framework for tokenization or entity in the business? Salim, do you mind coming, unmute yourself? Maybe if you want to turn on the camera, feel free. Why don't you ask this question online? Like, I'm sorry I'm putting you on the spot, but I think it's better you ask us so we are responding properly. Go ahead, Shaliya Tala. Okay, we'll give him 5 seconds.
Walaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Go ahead.
Sir, just wanted to check, like for example, in any industry whereby the stakeholders are the consumers or the outsiders, the trust of the consumer is dependent on the regulatory environment as well. Just wanted to check that that if there is any regulatory body who is monitoring the fair practice and all these things, same as like the bank, the central banks, or the other regulatory body for other type of organization. Just wanted to check this.
Sure. Hey, can I take this question?
Yes, I think this is relevant.
Yeah. So no, this is very good question, Tala, and this is where the pitfall comes in, right? A lot of crypto guys, including in Canada, they took the money overnight and they flown to some Caribbean island. It's just because there was no regulatory oversight, and this is where a regulated tokenization come in. Any platform we interact, first question we have to ask them, even before Sharia compliance, are you regulated? Do you carry a license? If they carry a license, they should give you an evidence. You should be able to go to the regulatory authority and check the license. That's number one. Number two is that, okay, as far as the license is there, then we need to talk about the asset which I'm investing. So I need to ask them where the asset is, who are the lawyers involved. They should be as a team member. So in Mabrook, I don't want to give Mabrook example because Mabrook is not the best platform in the world, right? We are evolving and we learn. So I should not say that, downplay other platform. That's not my intention. At Mabrook level, what we have done is that when you go to the platform, all the risk criteria, risk metrics, evidence of the title registry, evidence of the SPV, lawyer contacts, which are third party evaluator, their contact details are there and everything is audited. You can come and you can look into the last audit of Sharia, of the lawyer, of the third party evaluator, and you don't have to ask me. You can go to the platform and you can see anything which goes into yellow. We are providing a yellow alert to everybody. Anything which goes into red, non-compliance, we are providing a red notice to everybody that this is what happening. This is how we are basically reacting to it. Because trust is everything, right? Reputation is everything. Thank you for that. Next question again from Tala. I think Tala is really pumped up, mashallah, today. Okay. So, Tala, if you don't mind, I'll take Shekhar Umar the question. Brother Shekhar Umar, where are you? Let me find you. Okay. Can you raise your hand again? Yeah. Okay. Let me just see why I cannot see you. Can you say Shekhar on the call?
Yes, Shekhar, raise the hand and
Somehow I cannot see him. Brother Shekhar, are you there?
yes, in
Okay,
attendees,
he's there. He's there.
Allowed.
Okay, go ahead. I found him. Go ahead. Good, Brother Shekhar. You can unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam. Wa alaikum salam.
Assalamu warahmatullah.
Initially, Jazakumullah khair for the valuable insight. Actually, my concern, as you mentioned before, sir, for the confirmation of the license from the regulatory side, do you have any proper mechanism to just confirm or verify this sort of license, or you will directly refer to the regulatory and then get confirmation from that side?
Very good question. I am glad you asked. So the way to do is that, let's say, if I tell you I have a Canadian license, you can go to the Canadian regulator, and every regulator has a registry book online. You go click on it, and you just simply type the company name, and you will know what is the status of the license. That is everywhere. UAE, Alhamdulillah, Mabrook got a license in El Salvador, South America. You can go to their CNAT is the regulator name, UAE, VARA. Even DIFC, UAE, you go, you can type in the name in the registry and you can pull up the information. Okay, Brother Shekhar? All right, I'll move to some other question. There's Sister Sadia Azim. Sister Sadia Azim is asking, would stable coin for real estate tie with Mabrook platform? God forbid, in your given example, if anything happens to the platform, but actual real estate is working fine and generating income and wants to continue serve the asset shareholder, how will that work? Times of any or is there any stress on the investor that they are in limbo, that their money is wiped out, and platform like Mabrook has gone with their money, uh, and how the valuation is tied to the platform. Sheikh, I will answer this because this is
Yes.
more legal question. The way Sister Sadia it works is that once you have a asset, so imagine you drive down the road of Toronto, and you like a house and you buy it. So tokenization is just same. It just given access to the global and the local investors, right? In a fraction. So in a assumption where you use your stable coin and you buy the real estate, or you use your Canadian or US dollar or Pakistani currency rupee to buy a token, and something happened to the platform, right? The same thing will follow. The lawyer will be informed, the regulator will be informed, asset will continue to operate because the asset is run by some separate business, not Mabrook or the platform. And they will be in contact with you, and the coordination will happen, and the asset will continue. Because see, even if the platform is wiped out, the beauty of the tokenization is the real estate is there, the asset is there. All right. The another question is from Jamil Abbas. Must the NRWA token be formally recognized by the government of the company where the real estate? So government of the country means the regulator. As far as regulatory authority has approved the tokenization, Brother Jamil, you can do it. If they don't approve it, you can basically not put the token on the platform. As simple as that. And this is where the tokenization, regulatory tokenization, and non-regulatory tokenization comes in, right? So you watch for that, ask for the license, and make sure that you are investing in a safe platform. Surprise Yunus, what organization is offering token coin to buy if someone wants to pull out their asset from crypto? So we are launching very soon, brother, and there you can look into some other Islamic tokenization platform. Just verify the license, and you go from there. Inshallah, just keep your eye on Mabrook, if you will. Mr. Abdul Rauf Sivani, who happens to be the board advisor of Mabrook as well. How can digital token on decentralized blockchain legally and automatically enforce absolute ownership of physical assets at multiple jurisdictions? So the asset stays in their legal boundaries, right? And then if the platform is global, it has to follow that law of that land where the asset exists. So all the lawyers evaluators should be there, and this is how we are going to basically control the ecosystem. Um, Mr. Tala, okay, Tala, I'll come back to you. Rashid Mohammed has asked, is Mabrook live available? No, it's not live and available. We got the license and everything is sorted out because we were working really hard in two countries to get our license first, because we want to go into shady stuff and compromise the reputation. So watch for the inshallah social media, and very soon we'll have some very exciting project coming in inshallah. And when we do this, please don't take Mabrook as the what you call the best platform in the world. Mabrook want to be the community platform. We want everybody to be vocal. Come to the platform when they start investing. Tell us that this is the downside they are seeing, because we have to embrace it together, right? The more people provide us the feedback, the better we get, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, Mabrook has built its platform without using any third party. That's the beauty of it. Are
I would
you?
like to,
Go ahead.
as you talked about that, don't consider Mabrook to be the best platform. What I personally think, actually, setting an example is the first part, is the initial, because the discussion has been conceptual. The second part of the discussion is going to be operational, and in the operational discussion, the person who is going to set the example is going to be referenced again and again by you or by anyone else. So maybe there are some people who are going excellent and who will excel and will do better, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it happen for all the Muslim investors. They should have very strong, easy and good yielding platforms, but authentic and trustful. So, but in any case, because first of all, just getting the license and setting that example and making all that happen and work takes some time. And when it will work, it will be one of its kind, and then it will happen, inshallah, in some other countries as well.
Alhamdulillah, Sheikh. Thank you very much for that. Mr. Ayub Mukhtar Adan have asked, is tokenized is just limited for buying actual property or it can be used for any asset in description where it can be delivered in the future? Yes, you can have. So see, tokenization is nothing but it's a digital twin of what we are doing in the world. My personal favorite is not real estate. My personal favorite is small, medium, or small businesses. I really want a Muslim in Mombasa, Kenya, or Tanzania, or anywhere in the world who's struggling to even raise 20,000 American dollars to give a double yield to their investor. I want them to come onto the platform. It can be any business as far as Sharia compliant, halal, you can bring it on. In your example, yes, it can be a property which will be built in the future and you have the land acquired today. All right, we can pledge the land, you can have a construction financing, you can go from there. Can tokenization be used renting properties? Yes, you can. Another question for you, Mukhtar, is okay. So that's a repetitive question. I'll just go ahead and then move to the Sadia Azim question. Congratulations, Mabrook, on doing this. We at Serene Equity Investment will be excited to work with you and continue to serve, inshallah, system with Sadia. Everybody is welcome. Whether a business or understanding or awareness, we are happy to assist in any cause which is Sharia compliant. Coming back to Talha's last two questions, what about the wet hotel in West? Almost all the hotels are wet. What are the applicable Sharia rules in control to ensure Sharia compliance? So, brother Talha, sorry for my lack of knowledge. What does wet hotel mean? Sorry, are you talking about the Western hotel which are serving liquor? If that's your question, do you want to get unmute and ask the question?
Yes, brother. The same. Your understanding is correct. Wet hotel means those who are serving the liquor. At
Alcohol.
the same, like for the West, there are some hotels. They are also offering the casino services.
Yeah, yeah. So we don't go there. So there is. I will let Sheikh give us the IFE enlightenment. Sheikh, if there is a non-person, so I have a business which is legitimate. It's a hotel, right? But there's a small component in F&B liquor. I'm serving alcohol, right? So what is the IFE ruling on that? And let's say I say to Brother Tala that Tala, I promise, the moment I get it tokenized race fund, I'm going to shut this off. Is there this use case like that permissible?
There are some petrol stations and gas stations, and this serve wine as well. And because in that culture, this is part of the culture, and so from the Sharia perspective, again, that part is not allowed in any case. So, for example, if a person asks as a business owner that I run a gas station, many people don't come to my gas station. I just want to keep only 5, 10 bottles, and people should come here. And in that case, actually, he's not allowed to do it. Number one. Number two, when a person is going to invest in that, in a case, for example, only 10% or 5% of it is coming from that part. One problem is actually they are not able to identify that part, how much it is, and are they able to segregate that income and segregate these accounts. So if they are able to segregate these accounts and these are considered to be a different business, actually, then it can happen. Number two. Number three is sometimes it is then again a mixed case, and in that mixed case, the cautious part is actually not going towards it. But there are some cases actually, because even when we talk about the shares and the when buying stocks, actually there are organizations who their core business is halal, but they have invested in some interest bearing accounts, and they are giving them some return on it. So as far as the rules that are being followed in Pakistan, they actually they say that it should be as low as there is a specific ratio, that is debt to asset ratio. Number one. Number two, the income of that part should be less than 5% to be considered as negligible, and that less than 5% part should go to charity as well. So actually, in that case, we need to set a complete SOP and process for it for these kind of cases. If these things are involved in these type of businesses.
Very good. Alhamdulillah. So I hope Tala we justified your answer. So the last question from Tala is there any secondary market or for tokenization? Inshallah. Mabrook is building and is coding its own secondary market, where, for example, the speculative options will not be allowed. So only what you can do is that is spot trading. You like the asset, you buy it. If you don't want to buy it, there's no way you can speculate the price and then strike the price, right? So that is coming, inshallah. We recently got the license in May, so we are going to be rolling out secondary market as well. So I think we are 12 minutes ahead from our time. Thank you everyone for joining, and Dr. Mufti Umar, thank you for supporting us. It was Dr. Mufti Umar idea that we should come out and start spreading awareness. Keep it very informal because we really want people to ask question. If we know the answer, we'll tell you. If not, at least we have a takeaway and responsibility to come back with those answers. It's very important for us Muslims to understand what is halal, what is haram. We go, I live in Toronto. I go to the halal meat shop and I know that with a certificate I buy. But then what about my financial business dealing? That also has to be halal because that money I'm taking and I'm feeding my family. And this also, the awareness also protect other Muslim and my community member also, so they are aware and they make informed decision. With that, we'll conclude today's week one, and inshallah, week two we'll see everybody on next Sunday. If you, please give us the feedback if you like us to adjust, change anything you like, you don't like, tell us on the social media on Mabrook, and inshallah we go from there. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This
Bye.
webinar will be concluded. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.